Are you going places or left behind because you don't have a travel companion? Listen to how you can travel more independently. Dr. Travelbest will bring you the best answers, tips, and hear mistakes so you can benefit.
Welcome to Dr. Mary Travelbest's Independent Travel Guide. This is for women who are seeking new adventures through travel, maybe at a new stage in life, and need self-confidence to get going. Have you written or updated your travel bucket list? I'll help you get there. I'll respond to your travel questions as well as show my mistakes and missteps in travel. I wrote and published the best-selling World's First Guide to Independent Travel, and I want to make your travel the very best, like Travelbest. The second edition of the guide will be available in several months, so stay tuned for news on that. Our show notes are all available at Dr. Mary Travelbest at blogspot.com. In this episode, the question that you asked, face masks, yes or no? The destination is Savannah, Georgia. My mistake was not checking my airline tickets. And the tip is try to book 2 one-way tickets instead of a round trip. The first FAQ, what kinds of face masks are there? And the second question, what do I need to consider when shopping for one? Respirator masks are in demand now. What you're going to need will depend on your circumstances. There are 2 respirator masks. One is 95%, the other is 99%. Many experts believe that there's little value in the face masks because most people don't wear them properly. So there's no definitive studies as yet. These don't necessarily prevent infections either, so maybe they're not the best protection from getting a virus. Today's independent destination is Savannah, Georgia. I visited Savannah recently and found that there was a lot going on there. The best time to visit, I'm told, is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, when the city celebrates the Irish. When I was there, I learned a lot about the history, starting in the cemetery from the 1700s, with an early Saturday morning walk around the squares in the historic areas. What will you see? Perhaps you'll visit the stunning cathedral, Oglethorpe Square art, period architecture, trendy boutiques, or even hear some ghost stories. There seems to be a lot of cemeteries, which lends to the legends and ghost stories. Like me, you may encounter trees with hanging moss in Savannah. You really should not touch this because it can be dangerous. I was caught carrying some around with me, and a local asked me if I knew it was unhealthy to carry. Whoops, my mistake. Once the moss touches the ground, it may have chiggers or even snakes in it. What's good about Spanish moss is that birds use it for nests, but that frogs and spiders also could live in it. And boll weevils are also drawn to it. So it's not something you want to take on a souvenir. What else is there in Savannah? The history of liberty. Names like Drayton, Chippewa Square. There are slaves' quarters and lots of original brick. You'll also see some trolleys, tours, horse-drawn carriages, and even a free tourist bus. Now, I want to talk about Tybee Island. If you like the seashore, here's my recommendation. Visit Tybee Island. It's just past Savannah. It's a barrier island with wide sandy beaches, including South Beach. It's got a pier and a pavilion. I went swimming in the clear ocean water, rode the waves, and delighted in the refreshments. On a hot day, you'll want to do the same. It's humid and sticky in the summers. Besides the beach, you can also see some touristy places here. In the island's north, you've got a fort with 19th century concrete gun batteries and the Tybee Island Light Station and Museum. That is a still functioning 18th century lighthouse. So now for today's mistake. Check your plane tickets. Check all tickets, but especially airline tickets. Not checking the change to my travel flights caused me a lot of trouble. Airlines can change your flights, and they did. They have the ability to give you a 23-hour layover, and they did that. And I didn't even notice until I tried to board my plane. It was the next day, they told me. So I was in Toronto returning from France, and I was stuck for another day. There was really nothing I could do but give it another day. I was with my daughter, Tina. We got a taxi to a hotel and spent the night there. We were pretty exhausted anyway, so one more night wasn't such a terrible thing in Toronto after all. So now some travel advice. Try something different this time on your flight reservations. Book 2 one-way tickets instead of a round trip. So you could book one way. You don't always have to go two. You might enjoy the travel more. Or maybe you find a nearby airport for a change of pace. If that makes sense for your travel budget, go ahead. For example, I took Southwest Airlines and went to Alabama, past Atlanta, before they landed there on a better price range. And you might want to take a trip to Mexico via the border airport. Also, John Wayne in Irvine. You might want to check that airport instead of Long Beach or Los Angeles Airport, LAX. So think about taking 2 one-way trips. It might not work out well if you rent a car, but if you're looking for some adventure, you might want to book 2 different trips, one each way. And the price could even be lower than a round trip. Thank you for sharing this edition of the World's First Guide to Independent Travel. We'd love for you to share this with your girlfriends. Helping women travel, that's my goal. Send me your travel questions and also let me know what's on your bucket list.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travelbest, that is.